I want to tell you about the time my own homeowners association, the very group that's supposed to protect property values and safeguard our neighborhood, tried to steal my driveway. And not for something essential, not for safety, but for a so-called community walking trail. Imagine that, the one strip of pavement that connected my home to the world, they wanted to slice in half and claim it for themselves. It began on an ordinary Tuesday morning. I was sipping coffee on the porch when I noticed a white envelope wedged into my storm door. The HOA logo was printed at the top, bold and smug. I didn't think much of it at first. Probably another notice about trash bins or lawn heights. The usual nitpicking, but when I opened it, the words hit me like a punch in the chest. Your driveway has been identified as part of the upcoming Community Trail Enhancement Project. Construction will begin in 3 weeks. I read it twice, thinking my eyes were playing tricks. My driveway, my property. They were talking about tearing it up and replacing it with a pedestrian trail that would cut right through my lot. At the bottom, the letter assured me that alternate access to my garage would be considered, as if my family's way in and out of our own home was just an afterthought. I remember staring at the letter, my coffee growing cold, my hands trembling. My kids had chalk drawings all over that driveway from the weekend before, smiley faces, hopscotch boxes, even a crooked heart with Dad scrawled in the middle. Suddenly, all of it felt fragile, like it could be bulldozed into dust. When I called the HOA office, the woman on the line sounded rehearsed, almost smug. "Oh, it's already been voted on," she said casually. "The trail benefits the entire community. You'll adapt." Those last 2 words lit a fire in me. You'll adapt. As if my home, my memories, my property rights didn't matter at all. A week later, surveyors arrived. Bright neon vests, hard hats, spray cans, marking fluorescent orange lines right across the concrete I parked my truck on every night. Neighbors slowed down as they drove by, some smiling, some nodding in approval. I felt invisible, watching strangers plan the destruction of something that was mine. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table, the letter spread out in front of me. Then I remembered something. The infrastructure agreement. Back when I bought the house, the stack of papers had been overwhelming. But I'd forced myself to skim the fine print. Somewhere in there I had seen clauses about easements and private access. I tore open my old filing cabinet and pulled out the thick, dust-covered folder. For hours I pored over every page, every stamped seal, every clause. My eyes burned, my fingers smudged with ink, and then, there it was, in black and white, stamped and recorded with the county. The private driveway at Parcel 16 is hereby excluded from all community easements, and shall remain the sole property of the title holder. That was me, my driveway legally protected, untouchable. The next HOA meeting, I showed up early, the document folded neatly in my jacket pocket. The room was buzzing with chatter about new flowers for the entry sign and updates to the pool schedule. When they got to the trail project agenda, the board president smiled broadly, already talking about how construction was ready to begin. That's when I stood up. My voice was shaking, but I spoke anyway. "Before you spend another $1, you should see this." I walked to the front, laid the stamped agreement on the table, and read the clause out loud. The silence in that room was like a thunderclap. Board members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, papers rustled, neighbors whispered. I locked eyes with the president and said, "What you're trying to do is illegal. This driveway is protected. If you proceed, I will take legal action." For a moment, nobody spoke. The smug grin drained from his face. Finally, he muttered something about a misunderstanding and promised the board would review the documents, but the damage was done. Everyone in that room had seen the truth. That night, when I got home, I parked my truck in the middle of the driveway and just sat there, staring at the concrete under the headlights. It wasn't just pavement anymore. It was proof that I could stand up for myself, proof that this little strip of land meant something bigger. And here's where the emotional part comes in. My youngest daughter came out in her pajamas, barefoot, rubbing her eyes. She asked why I was sitting in the truck with the engine off. I lifted her into my lap and told her, "Nobody's taking this away from us." She didn't fully understand, but she smiled and said, "Good, because this is where I draw my rainbows." That broke me. I hugged her so tight, right there in the truck, my throat tight with relief and exhaustion. Today, the community trail still exists. It winds through the neighborhood, weaving behind houses, looping around the park. But when it reaches my property, it bends, curving neatly around my driveway. Every time I see joggers pass by, I feel 2 things: pride that I stood up to them, and sorrow that I had to fight so hard for something that never should have been threatened. Because at the end of the day, a driveway isn't just concrete. It's the chalk drawings, the scraped knees, the oil stains from my dad helping me change a car battery, the place where my kids waited for the school bus. It's where life happens. And no HOA, no matter how powerful, has the right to take that away.